Check this out, guys. Trump slams corrupt New York for letting the migrants come in and take over while he gets fined $355 million. He also warns the Democrat state is gone and people are moving out. Trump right now is pretty furious, especially if you don't know what's happening with the whole entire New York City and Trump trial, which many celebrity investors like Kevin O'Leary and Grant Cardone are all saying that Trump is innocent. And one of the biggest reasons why is he runs real estate businesses, right? It's pretty normal. Trump essentially has like a $400 million building. He took out $200 million to just pay for some collateral, and that's really about it. We don't really have that much information. It was a really easy and simple deal, but for some reason, he is now being sued for almost $400 million, and with interest, we're looking at almost $500 million, and nobody really knows why, right? It's so simple. Like, you have a building, you borrow money from the bank because you use the building as a collateral, and the bank actually wanted to work with Trump. So people don't really see what's the problem here, and New York is honestly kind of getting worse and worse at this point, with a lot of investors leaving. When Trump said that people are moving out, it's actually true, right? If you look at some of America's biggest coastal cities, we're actually seeing a population decline. Except America in general has a population increase. This is very different from places like South Korea and Japan, where the reason why many of their cities are decreasing in population is because their population is decreasing. America, on the other hand, population is increasing very fast, right? But our coastal cities are decreasing people because of stuff like this. And because a lot of the coastal cities suck to live in. Except places like Florida, some of the Texas cities, and Nevada, but Nevada is not even near the coast, so whatever. But check this out. New York City mayor is now kind of regretting the situation. We're seeing the migrant crisis eating away at their budgets. And some people, a few conspiracies here and there, even said the reason why they're suing Trump is to get $355 million so they can pay for the migrant crisis. Recently, New York even implemented a really expensive toll. Every single car going from Jersey to Midtown Manhattan has to pay $15. Trucks up to $36. It's going to be generating like a lot of money, almost $1 billion for the MTA. And some people said it was because they spent so much money on the migrant crisis, they're going broke. And they're kind of making the citizens pay for this everyday expenditures at this point. Now, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has called for a radical overhaul of its sanctuary status and a really crazy U-turn. In fact, the dude is so desperate to get it back into a non-sanctuary status, he's thinking about using his executive power to just start deporting migrants at this point. Migrants have committed crimes, but the city council doesn't want to do that, but he wants to do that. So it's actually really wild to see that. A really crazy U-turn. And on Fox News, he said that he had an epiphany, and that is why he decided to do a U-turn on the migrant crisis. He doesn't want to do this anymore, and I think many of the sagging poll numbers also tell him that a lot of the citizens of New York are fed up and sick and tired of this. And look at this. New York City Eric Adams plans to impose curfew at violence-plagued Randall's Island. Migrant Shelter says it's a powder keg. And we're seeing Eric Adams actually stepping up a little bit and putting some control on the migrant crisis. In fact, he's also decreasing the amount of migrants coming into New York City. It's not because New York's mean. Guys, New York has almost 200,000 people, 200,000 migrants. They're literally going bankrupt. They just spent $5.7 million on the migrant crisis. $5.7 billion is a lot of money. And they frankly just cannot replenish this sort of cash. Look at this. You also have truckers. The trucker boycott is still going on, guys. People also claim that the New York City boycott has failed, but reports are suggesting otherwise. If you check out what Trucker Jake has to say on Twitter, basically he's saying that the trucker boycott is still going on and it's still going strong. Many people are saying that the trucker boycott has essentially fizzled out, but in fact, it's actually growing stronger than ever before, with more loads in New Jersey and New York, with less truckers picking them up. Whereas traditionally, there's always been a large amount of truckers in those locations shipping loads around and around and around. Because of the recent Trump situation, a lot of truckers are kind of really disconnected from New York City. And New York City is always pulling some sort of shenanigans on them anyway. You also have trying to go to New York City. If you drive a big semi-truck, first of all, you're probably going to get a ticket from all of those really crazy cameras. Second of all, the cops will probably ticket you for going just slightly too fast. And then lastly, there's literally tolls everywhere. Like if you go to New York City and you don't pay like almost $100 on tolls and roads, dude, it's impossible. Challenge is impossible. Now they even are implementing another tax for trucks crossing from New Jersey to Midtown Manhattan. That one is also very expensive, up to $36. So these are several reasons, all adding up to a boiling point. And like I said, a lot of loads are not being shipped. Not to mention, there's not a lot of truckers in America, guys. We have an 80,000 trucker shortage and 200,000 trucker shortage by the end of the decade. So the truckers could go where they want, guys. Many people have misconceptions about truckers, thinking that truckers are forced to ship somewhere or are forced to work with a company or brokerage. No, they have the most freedom among any other job in America. We're also getting a lot of news about buildings in New York City just simply being turned into migrant shelters. Like, for example, a 16-story building in the Garden District, which is very luxurious, now bankrupt from being used to be WeWork, is now being offered up as an emergency shelter for migrants. Same thing happening in Park Slope. And many residents are actually protesting about this. I think at this point, people are just kind of done the migrant crisis, right? You know, if New York just took in 1,000 people or maybe just 5,000 people, people would have been cool. But even if New York takes in 10,000 people and that's it, I think New York would not be under this sort of strain. But they are, and they're honestly buckling under the pressure. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below, and see you later.